everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel with another news update, because yes, we have got another article which DTG have put out this afternoon. It's all about the cargo line volume 5 nuclear, which is coming out from Skyhook. Now, we've known about this in the roadmap for a while, so we're going to have a look through today's article. We're going to have a look at the screenshots, just re-familiarise ourselves with what it's all about and the cost and the platforms it's coming out for, and importantly, when. And I'll tell you that right now, because this is coming out on the 18th of November. So as I record this, 6 days from now. Pretty exciting stuff. I've been looking forward to this one because it takes us back again to the West Coast Main Line. And especially for me, the West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle, which, you know, is still my favourite route. So let's have a look at the article, shall we? There'll be a link, as always, in the description to this article, so you can go and read it for yourself. But as I've mentioned, it's coming from Skyhook Games on the 18th of November. June roadmap is when we first found out about this, and we will get a modernised Class 20 locomotive with this and the unique Flask wagon. So there's a little bit about what the nuclear trains actually are. And it simulates the movement of radioactive nuclear material up and down 2 stretches of the West Coast Main Line. And the role of these trains is simple, which is to safely carry nuclear flasks between power stations and processing centres across the UK. This important task has made them a popular and rare catch for enthusiasts, and despite the reduction in nuclear power plants since the millennium, the trains are still seen in use to this day. Now, due to the volatile nature of the cargo, nuclear trains are often operated with multiple locomotives at once. The modernised Class 20/3 was one such type of locomotive assigned to the role. Bookending the wagons between locos protects them against any direct impact, and additional diesel engines added contingency in case of a failure. Whenever possible, the nuclear train must remain moving and is given high priority across the network for obvious reasons. So a little bit about the 20/3, because we've had the Class 20 before. If you've been on the Tees Valley, it does tell us a little bit about that. But this is the Class 20/3. And this is an English electric Type 1/20 locomotive, which we all know as a chopper because of the distinctive engine sounds that it has. And as mentioned, it first appeared in TSW as a loco add-on for the Tees Valley line, which was set in the early 1990s. So this cargo line volume 5 introduces a new contemporary version, which is from around the year 2000. So it's a little bit more modern, as you'll see from the cab, etc. A little bit about the 20 itself. Was developed in the 1950s. The English electric Type 1 was the first major step on British Railways' path to dieselisation. That's a good word, dieselisation. After many trials and failures, the Type 1 showed promise as a 1000 HP locomotive, and between 1957 and 1968 a total of 228 would be produced. The Type 1s took over from steam locomotives of equivalent power, primarily working light mixed freight traffic throughout the Midlands and in Scotland. Unlike newer locomotives, the Type 1s featured a rather unique single cab design. Let's just have a look at this picture of the cab, because if you're familiar with the Tees Valley Class 20, you'll know what a grimy, horrible cab that is. It has a certain class about it, with the food warmer and that kind of thing. I don't know if this one's going to have a food warmer or whether we've moved on from there. But you can see here that it's very modern, it's very clean, and it says the cab situated at the rear of the locomotive has controls facing in either direction and gives the locos a tank engine-like appearance, with the diesel engine and onboard equipment sat much like how a firebox and boiler would in front of the cab. Visibility when travelling nose first was quickly realised as a concern. You'll know that if you've driven the one in the Tees Valley from with the nose end first. It's very difficult for those little slit windows to see what's going on at the front. It became common to see pairs of Type 1s coupled at the nose, allowing for greater view of the track ahead, and with the added benefit of doubling the horsepower, meaning they could handle heavier trains. And here are the new 20s there, with the flasks on the back. With the introduction of the TOPS classification system, the EE Type 1s were rebranded as BR Class 20s. And despite being some of the oldest diesels around, the Class 20s have remained in operational use to this day and have survived into preservation, making them a frequent sight on heritage railways. A number of Class 20s were once used in operations in France. Every time we get a little bit of information about where some of these locos and engines have been used elsewhere, it always amazes me. Like the 47's been off somewhere else. I think it was the 86 or the 87 was in Bulgaria or something like that. Always, makes me think, wow, they get a lot of use over here and then they move across somewhere else. So the 20s were used in France, and they were used to construct the high-speed 1 line, which is featured in the Southeastern High Speed in TSW. They've also been used to operate the railhead treatment trains, which is something that can be loosely recreated using formation designer and free roam features in TSW. But nuclear operations and modernisation. Oh, this looks good. Look at this. This looks great. Look at the 47. You see the flask there at the back. It tells us a little bit about this as well. There's a bit of a recap about what was in the June roadmap. I'll let you pause that or read the article for yourself. It's a little bit about DRS and how it all came about. And the fact that DRS themselves have got a fleet. They had a fleet of 21 examples of the English Electric Type 1, and they were upgraded by brush traction, and they were converted to have standard headlight clusters, high impact windscreens, a complete cab rebuild, and then out shopping them in the iconic Oxford blue livery with full yellow ends and red buffer beams. The colours do look very good. I think I much prefer this one than the dirty old freight one that we've got on Tees Valley. Although, like I said at the beginning, that's got a certain something about it though. This 20/3 in this add-on though from the year 2000 includes the WIPAC headlights, the modernised cab which we saw earlier on the article in the screenshot. This includes the NRN, the National Rail Network, and the GSMR equipment. I don't know how functional those are going to be. Usually, with the GSMR we can switch it on and off, and that's pretty much it, and there's a button to contact the signaller. I don't know if the NRN is going to work. Shall we have a quick look at that screenshot? I think the NRN's up there, look. It looks a bit greyed out to me. I don't know if that's going to be functional. I think if it was going to be functional, they would have shouted about it. So I'm going to assume it's there, but it's just a graphic. It's not doing anything. Let's wait and see. The GSMR is probably going to be the same functions as before. Again, if it was further enhanced, I think we would have heard about it by now. They would have shouted about that because it's been requested for quite a long time. We've got a non-functional nuclear panic button. Now, I don't know what that does in real life. We'll have to put me a comment if you know. I don't know whether that informs the signalman or it gives an alarm off or radios ahead or something. I don't know. That's something I'll need to look into. But if you know, drop me a comment. I'm interested to know about that. Also, there has been the removal of the head code discs as well, which you can see, which are on the Tees Valley one, but we're on the headlights here. Remember, we used to have to flip the head code discs backwards and forwards to show the lights and show whatever head code we were running, etc. All that's gone. Now, the FNA-D Nuclear Flask wagon. I like this. I got the Nuclear Flask wagon just recently, the AP version for Train Sim Classic. So I could run some of the nuclear stuff up and down the North Wales coastline. So I'm quite a fan of these. They're quite unusual, aren't they? And it says sandwiched between the pair of Class 20s is the FNA-D Nuclear Flask wagon, which is brand new to Train Sim World. We've not had this before. The original fleet of FNA wagons were built by British Rail and later Proco for the transport of spent nuclear fuel from power stations to processing and research centres. These fascinating wagons came into service in the 70s and became an iconic part of the network performing this important task. In the 2010s, it was identified that replacements were required. The Nuclear Decommissioning Authority commissioned W.H. Davis to produce 40 new wagons as a like-for-like replacement for the original FNAs. And there you can see that looks like just coming out of going out southbound out of Carlisle station, it looks like, from on board probably an 86 or an 87, looking out on the actual nuclear train there, which is quite a nice screenshot. The new batch of wagons featured several major updates, including exposed framing, different bogies, and the ability to carry a wider range of flask designs. Despite the reduction in nuclear power plants in the UK since the millennium, the FNA-Ds can still be seen in use across much of the UK, which is pretty nice. Now, this nuclear pack, where can we use it? That's what you're all going to be asking. So here's the details on that. It adds nuclear services and scenarios to 2 stretches of the West Coast Main Line. Of course, West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle, which is the Just Trains route, and you can see here, this looks as if it is going through the 47 is going through the Loon Gorge on its way north up to Carlisle in this screenshot. Really nice. That's Titan. They're 47612, and it also adds services and scenarios to London, Milton Keynes. So again, getting some more good use out of these 2 routes. Both these routes, Preston Carlisle, I said at the beginning, this is still my favourite route in the game. And London Milton Keynes, I always enjoy playing that anyway, so it was great that these 2 routes coming back with some re-energised gameplay, let's say. For the Preston Carlisle, there are 3 scenarios and 14 timetable services, and these represent trains running at Sellafield nuclear site, with in-game services running between Coinforth, Preston and Coinforth and Carlisle, as well as Morecambe to Preston and Morecambe to Coinforth. And it's just a note there that these would originate off the map at Heysham Harbour, because there is the Heysham nuclear power plant there, which isn't depicted. It's in you can go up the Heysham branch in Train Simulator Classic, but you can't in TSW. You can see as you come out of Morecambe Station, it goes off to your right hand side. Unfortunately, you can't get to that, which is a shame in TSW, because that would have been a really nice add-on, especially with this pack coming out afterwards. It mentions that these services are operated by the Class 47s that feature in the route, the Preston Carlisle route itself, with formations including Mark 1 BG coaches either side of the FNA-D wagon. So you're not actually going to use the Class 20 on those services from what it says there. This is a great shot with the Pendolino going past on this side, and this is from the London Milton Keynes route. And again, you're going to get 2 scenarios on that route and 4 timetable services, so a little bit less for the London Milton Keynes. But these also represent the trains running out of Sellafield and Dungeness nuclear sites, with in-game services running between Willesden Junction and Milton Keynes, as well as services starting and ending at Bletchley and Willesden Brent sidings. So a decent amount of gameplay for this price point, and the price point we're coming to very soon. But that's not all. Riviera line services, and this is a slightly greyed out or hazy shot because it's not ready yet. But prior to the release of Train Sim World 6, DTG mentioned planned nuclear train services that Rivet Games Tyler, the employee, he's been on a couple of the live streams, implemented into the Riviera line timetable. These will be made available for players that own Cargo Line Volume 5, plus the other add-ons that are required for this unique formation. So it looks like there's a 66 in there. Can't tell what's around the back of here, so I'm not sure. It looks top and tail by 66, that. So that's coming. Now, it doesn't say that. It says these will be made available. I don't know if that means on launch day or whether that's coming. It's a little bit weird how this is all sort of greyed out. Whether it's because there's some brand in there, I'm not sure. Important note, 8th gen consoles. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, spread of other trains running around has been reduced to provide acceptable performance. The reduction doesn't apply to PC, Xbox, Series S or X, or PlayStation 5 version. So it is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So that's the first thing. So that's good. But do keep in mind that there has been a reduction in other trains running around just to help the performance. So what about the price? It's coming out on the 18th of November. for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Epic Game Store, and Steam, and it will cost you £12.99, $15.99 in euros, or in dollars, $16.99. So, once again, I think, you know, these cargo line packs, this is number 5 now, can you believe it? I've always enjoyed these packs. I think they were great. The military one was great because, again, for me personally, we went back on the Preston Carlisle a lot with the military pack. This one, no exception. I'm really looking forward to this. I think that's probably a good price point based on the other cargo line packs that we've had so far. But tell me what you think. This is coming out next week. It's another DLC. It seems to have come out of nowhere. I know it's been on the list since June, but again, these things seem to release with a bit of a heads up, or I would think for a pack like this we would expect a bit more build up. Just personally, you know, I could give you a bit of a build up. I'm quite excited for it. I think you know that by now. But yeah, it's a bit strange. But you know, the proof is in what you guys think. So let me know if you'll be picking this up next week. We will no doubt get to preview it early as part of the DTG Ambassador program. If I can do that early next week, then I will do. So make sure you are looking at the channel and you subscribed so that you can see me schedule that and come and have an early access look at that. And before we go, just to let you know that this Saturday I will be in Train Simulator Classic. I'm planning a 4.5 hour run from Glasgow all the way over to Fort William in the Class 37 in Train Simulator Classic. So if you want to pop in and have a look at that live, please do. Even if you don't play Train Simulator Classic, if you're just interested in trains, the Scottish Highlands, always a nice run, the Scottish Highlands, especially in the tractor in the Class 37. Come along Saturday afternoon, watch for that appearing on the feed. It's going to be a long one, a lot of fun. You're more than welcome. Please pop in, please come and say hi, and hopefully I will see you for that. But if not, take care, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.